today. Last week, our community kicked off the 2020 United Way fundraising campaign. This year is particularly important as so many families are in dire need of resources. People have found themselves in new and difficult situations, and often their place of refuge, their place of resource, their place of assistance has been and is often a United Way partner nonprofit organization. On this last Friday, I joined the 2020 United Way campaign chair, Chief Terry Enoch at Leopold's Ice Cream, to debut the brand new Georgia Pecan Blues ice cream, specifically designed to benefit United Way. To reach the established $8 million fundraising goal, we will need everyone to do what they can to help us to get there. I certainly could provide a testimonial to United Way, particularly as they have assisted the city of Savannah in distributing $3.3 million to families and people who need it the most. This work continues today, and again, you don't know how much you need somebody until you need them. And people who have never needed United Way agencies before are finding that they need them now. If it's food, if it's counseling, if it's a variety of children's services, the United Way is there. And so I'm calling on all Savannahans that we have to go above and beyond. We have to dig deeper. These are our neighbors, these are our friends, and in some cases, it might be us. If you have a workplace giving program, I'm asking for you to please give something. Everybody can't do the same thing, but I think I'm asking people to do what they can. I'm asking for our corporate neighbors to follow the lead of Leopold's Ice Cream. You may not be able to give out ice cream or to benefit United Way, but you can do what you can do. I'm asking that we work, we give, and we live united. Chatham County's COVID-19 daily case rate per 100,000 and community transmission index is slightly up from last week, from 17.3 to 20.7, and from 235.5 to 265.9. The good news is that these small increases are still lower than our rates for all of July and most of August. That being said, the jury is still out about what occurred during the Labor Day weekend, and we'll know that in the next week or so. People ages 20 to 29 continue to have the highest rate of confirmed cases in our county. So as we've discussed before, just because you're young does not mean that you are immune. Followed by those that are 30 to 39 years of age. Please continue to wear your mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands. This week, the City Council and I are excited to welcome our City Manager finalists to Savannah on Friday and Saturday. The finalists previously mentioned are Kalua Barnes, who is the Deputy City Manager of Modesto, California, Odie Donald II, the City Manager of South Fulton, Georgia, and John Pombier, the Assistant City Manager of Mesa, Arizona. I have promised a public vetting process, and I believe that this plan gives our public unprecedented access to meet our finalists. On Friday, our finalists will tour our city, visiting every district and various city facilities and projects. The council members will also meet in person with each finalist. The finalists will be asked to record a short video introduction, which will be released next Tuesday evening on the City of Savannah's cable access channel and social media platforms. On Saturday, each finalist will participate in individual interviews with various community groups, including neighborhood presidents, community members, city employees, the business community, task force chairs, and local media. Each city council member was asked to appoint one neighborhood president, one resident from their district, and 2 business representatives from their district to participate in these forums. The city's 5 service center chiefs in infrastructure and development, community and neighborhood services, operations, police and fire have each selected 5 employees in their area, from the area, to represent city staff on that panel. The 25 employees will represent the full spectrum of the city organization among all classifications and all pay ranges. So while this is a public process, remember, this is a council decision. But that being said, I'm sure we need all the help we can get. This is the last week to submit your feedback on the city's proposed strategic plan called Vision Savannah. The City Council wants resident feedback on the priorities, focus areas, and strategies in the plan. You can view a draft of the plan and submit comments online at savannahga.gov/Vision Savannah, savannahga.gov/Visit Savannah through Friday, September the 18th. Feedback will be shared with the council. We have 2 weeks and 1 day left. 2 more times that I will be begging for folks to get engaged, involved, and get counted in the 2020 census. You have heard us talking about this for months, but we are now down to the wire. Right now, just over 55% of Savannahans have been counted or have completed the census, which means at this point, we will only qualify for half of what we need if we cannot increase participation. So this is a full court press, and every opportunity I have to talk about it. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Zola, I think this week, every day, I want to push something out about this. Every single day, twice a day next week. Without an accurate count, the city could lose thousands of dollars for hospitals, Medicare, roads, bridges, school lunch, and housing programs. So we need your help to get it done. We need you to call, text, email your friends, those you think are your friends, text your enemies, those you think might be your enemies, offer to help someone who may not be as comfortable in filling out the census online. I have done that for people that, as many of you know, we were at the Civic Center site, and someone there did not fill it out. They filled it out at that point. Your information is secure, and the Census Bureau cannot share it with any government agency or organization. So please go to my2020census.gov, my2020census.gov, or call 844-330-2020, 844-330-2020 to be counted. And if you prefer to do it in Espanol, you can call 844-486-2020, 844-486-2020. Last week, the Small Business Assistance Corporation wrapped up the application process for the second round of CARES grant funding. They received more than 400 applications from Savannah businesses requesting $7 million in assistance. The SBAC is reviewing applications now, and we will keep you updated throughout the process. And I wanted just to add an editorial note here, because there's been a lot said about this, and I think the clear indication here is from the $2 million to include the at least $1.6 million we'll be adding in round 2, is that bar any city in this region, I haven't checked the state, but the city of Savannah has been able to bless businesses in our city of using this CARES funding. So things may not have gone the way we felt it should have gone. We've identified it, we fixed it, we're moving on. But at the end of the day, Every business that received these funds are in the city of Savannah. Every business that received this funding hires Savannahans. And so again, I challenge you to find another city, either locally or regionally, that has put that type of commitment forth to be able to help businesses during this time. I challenge you to see if the state has even done that. So where people want to make whatever they want to make of it, again, for those businesses that are able to get it, for the over 400, and we only have maybe less than 2 million to divvy out, we won't be able to help everybody. We just won't. And there's really no way of, I mean, either you split it to, you have, everybody has needs. But I think the way that we have designated the second round of the funding, again, ensures the equity piece. And I think at the end of the day, again, at least Savannah businesses will do better than they would have if we had not made this courageous decision to extend this type of assistance. The deadline to apply for assistance through the United Way of the Coastal Empire, or remember them? United Way of the Coastal Empire, the United Way, has been extended. The city now has until December 31st to distribute $3.3 million to those with past due mortgages, rent, or utility bills due to loss of income directly related to the COVID-19 pandemic. For more information or to talk to a specialist, it's easy as calling 211, Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. And you can also apply online by going to savannahga.gov/CARES Act. savannahga.gov/CARES Act. That ends my prepared comments. And I will be willing to entertain any questions that you may have.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Just one question for you. You know, there's the upcoming event with Donald Trump Jr. At the Convention Center tomorrow. Just curious if you're concerned about, you know, the large crowds, people not wearing masks. Really, any comment you have on that?
Well, I think it's a multi-part question. Everybody's welcome to Savannah. We're the place of hospitality. That being said, the Convention Center is a state-owned facility, and so they follow state rules. When they leave the Convention Center, they follow the City of Savannah rules. You know, that's the bottom line. We can't control what happens in the state facility, but you better believe I'll have some folks over on the city-owned Hutchinson Island to ensure that our mask mandates are being followed. And that's why these types of things are so important, because obviously this event will draw people from various areas. We don't know what lives they were living before they got here. And then they go into our restaurants, they go into our bars, they go into our hotels, and our employees work there that are our residents, that are our neighbors. So it has a multiplicative effect of someone wanting to spread it. So they can turn up while they're in there, but when they leave, they need to have a mask.
Thank you.
Thank you. And wash their hands and social distance.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, ma'am.
You made a point in talking about the CARES Act for businesses in Savannah to talk about that they went directly to Savannah businesses where Savannahans work. What were some of the comments that you were hearing from people as far as it being distributed?
Oh, I've heard that I gave the money to all my friends. I picked where the money went. I mean, I realized, I said, wow, I had $2 million. I turned around and I gave to my friends. You know, a lot of them took care of who tells it, and you have to consider the source. Unfortunately, some of the sources have been somewhat close. You know, the reality for us is this, is that the council approved a plan that the city manager explained to the Small Businesses Corporation. Somehow or another, there was some miscommunication. There was more money given to loan forgiveness than was given to new folks seeking loans. And so therefore the numbers were somewhat skewed. They were not what we wanted them to be. That being said, all of the businesses were in the city of Savannah. And although, you know, a lot said about them being the 3141 area zip code, those that are uninformed don't realize that the 31401 zip code is not just the downtown. The 3141 zip code is the core of the city, literally running from River Street to Victory Drive, from Montgomery Street to Waters Avenue. So when you look at a center mass in terms of businesses in this community, 31401 is that. And of the 41 some odd businesses, I believe only 22 of them actually were in the what we consider the downtown area. So, you know, you hate that people have nothing but else to do sometimes with their lives to have conspiracy theories and throw that stuff out. The truth is this: I haven't touched any of the money. I didn't know who got the money until the list was released. And you know, I think we all agreed. Every city, every council member agreed that it should have been more diverse. It should have been a wider net. So again, we had the opportunity to make adjustments. We made those adjustments, and so you know, you just have to. When you put light on darkness, when you put truth on lies, you know, it is what it is.
My other question for you is, I know as far as coronavirus goes, we're not as bad as we were. Like you said, there's a little bit of an uptick.
Thank God.
Do you have any concerns about that uptick right now?
I do. I mean, I'm worried about what next week will be. There were a lot of people out Labor Day weekend. I spent considerable time out on Saturday, Friday night, Saturday, just sitting and watching. I was concerned. Our patrols weren't out past 6 o'clock. That has to change because I'm sitting on River Street. I'm sitting in City Market, just sitting there, and I'm watching, you know, people who other circumstances should have been approached. So I'll be talking to the city manager about that. I mean, you know, if our peak times are going to be in the evenings when it's gotten cooler, then we need to have our task force out there in the evenings and at night. We just have to. We just have to figure out a way to get it done.
And how has the task force been doing? How is that going? Do you think, I mean, obviously that's kind of one of the downfalls of it right now, is that they need to be out later maybe, but have there been any issues that have come about or anything?
No, so far they're rock stars, you know, till 6 o'clock. And so we just have to figure out ways to increase our coverage. Again, for, you know, some of the complaints that I've gotten have been in the evenings. And when you kind of verify, you look, you say, okay, well, they stopped. So we need, if we're not going to have task force, then we need police more engaged. Again, I was in some of these areas and I just did not see either to the extent I would have wanted them to be seen. Again, we've come too far and we're too close to let up off the gas at this point. So I'm asking, and I will be asking the city manager to help us to get to the finish line, for us to keep pushing and to keep insisting that, you know, people keep the faith and follow the science.
My last question for you is, as the school district is starting to talk about what heading back to the classroom may look like, what are your thoughts and concerns on kids going back to the classroom?
You would ask me that, right? Okay. Well, I think that our superintendent, who I support, and our school board that I support, they have a job that at this point I do not want. There are so many issues in play. We know that, I mean, I could not imagine me growing up and having this amount of time being out of school. School for our young people, not only is it a learning environment, it's also a social environment. I mean, I know from my law enforcement work and my youth advocacy work that even kids that will run away, they would show up at school because that was their friends, it was their social network. We also know that from a medical standpoint, issues of child abuse, neglect are often discovered by school nurses, by school personnel, by teachers. So I think that, you know, so there, I mean, I can think of 1,000 reasons why kids need to be in school. That being said, we are also living under some extraordinary circumstances. We are living under times of which not only do we have to be concerned about the students' well-being, we have to be concerned about those who care for them. And I think, to me, it's a poor community that says we care about kids, but we don't care anything about those who care for kids. So, to me, we have to find where that balance lies. And again, that's fortunately not my decision, but we've seen what happens when it's gone wrong. We've opened up, and then the school had to close back down, or the system had to close back down. I'm just asking that our superintendent continues her very thoughtful, her very scientific approach in this. I think the request for metrics is what the superintendent has been working on, because we're dealing with metrics. We know we're in community spread about 9. We know when we get to about 6, we're moving to phase 2. So, I think they will get to the point where they can deal with the smaller kids and at-risk kids and special needs kids first, and then as our numbers improve, start to move folks in. But again, I'm not associated with the school board, but I get thousands of questions a day, literally, people ask me about that. It's not an easy decision. You're literally damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I'm just asking for people to understand the weightiness of those issues. I mean, it's just difficult. Here at the city, we'll be having conversations about, how do we open community centers, how we open parks, how we reintroduce sports. But again, it has to be based on some data. It can't be based on emotion. It can't be based on perception. It can't be even based on politics. It has to be based on something that can be measured. I had the opportunity to go to New York recently, and they are at less than 1%. Less than 1%. Whereas here in Savannah, we're upwards of 9%. So when we get our numbers down, I think we can really start reopening things. Which is why when people come here for Donald Trump Jr., they need to wear a mask. Because I mean, everything has everything to do with us getting back to our new normal. And we can't get there if everybody's just being reckless. So, in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
One was there. I think she yielded.
So we coming back to you?
I got nothing today. The waters are calm, Mayor Johnson.
Whoa.
Just one for me, actually. The newspaper in Augusta published an article on Friday saying that Mr. Donald is actually being considered as a finalist for city administrator in Augusta. Have there been any conversations with him and about his path moving forward as a finalist for the city manager position here in the city?
No. And I was very surprised to learn that from the newspaper. I just think that, I was extremely disappointed. The goal of this as you move forward is not to have surprises. And so Augusta is our sister city. I have a very good relationship with Mayor Davis, who I consider a personal friend. And so to find that out from an Augusta paper and be asked about it from someone from Augusta really caught me off guard.
Does that remove him from the running as a finalist here in the city in your mind?
Again, I think we're inviting finalists here. Each councilman has to make their decision. But, I was just very, very disappointed. I don't like surprises. I don't like those types of surprises. And so, it speaks some things to my mind, and I'll leave it at that. I just, if you're walking down the aisle to be my wife, so to speak, do I need to know that you're walking down the aisle to be somebody else's? To put it in some real practical terms, it's like, well, really, how committed are you to us? So, I'll leave my comments to that. I mean, again, I'm speaking for myself. I have not spoken to members of council regarding this. Again, because it's a council decision, each council member has to decide how that weighs in. As someone who is a human resources professional, that's just not cool, not to me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mary, one more. You touched a little bit on the extended hours for the task force, but just curious if any citations have been made.
I'm not familiar. If there are, we'll release those. Again, the interesting thing about people who visit Savannah is that if people are approaching you and saying, hi, you know you need a mask. I know we've given out thousands of masks, and we offer you a mask, and you take it and put it on. That really ends the interaction. You know, essentially, someone is going to be cited is if they refuse to take the mask and refuse to put one on. So, if there are any, we'll have Nick to release those today. Come on, come on, come on.
Okay. Have you had any talks with other local leaders about concerns about the Trump rally? Trump Jr.
No, actually, I found out about it. A media outlet called from out of town, asking me, was I familiar with it? I said no. They said, were you informed? I said no. What do you think? Again, you know, Savannah's welcome. We're in the middle of a presidential election that happens once every 4 years. And so we are a city of Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Green parties, independents, and people who don't care one way or another. I expect that and welcome everyone to come and make their case before the Savannah public. And more importantly, to talk about what their plans are to assist cities like Savannah. Cities that are port cities, cities that are military cities, cities that have a plethora of institutions of higher learning, cities that have issues with poverty, but issues of preservation and historic relevance. And so, I mean, I want them to come. I fully expect that President Biden or Vice President Biden and Senator Harris will also be in Savannah as well. Again, you know, we welcome them here. But they will wear masks. Period. Anything else? No? Well, good. Well, thank you all so much again. This will be a busy week for us. We also are watching the weather. As you know, we are in the midst of Savannah's busy time as it relates to hurricanes. So we recognize that the Gulf is being affected again, and we pray for our friends and neighbors down there. We recognize we're receiving some of that residual effect from the west, so we're keeping our eyes on that as well. We're just asking everyone to be prepared, stay prepared. What's your plan? Have a plan. Know where you're going to go. Know what you're going to do. Sign up for those registries for special needs if you need them. Let us be prepared. You know, we just have to continue to do that. So thank you, and we want you to continue to live united. We are all in this together. We show Savannah love because we are Savannah strong. God bless. Have a great day.